Who's got the best a cappella voice here? Now no one will ever God feel. Thank you. It's one of my favorite nigunim in the world. It's one of my favorite nigunim in the world. You know the story how I wrote this nigun? Ever tell you this story? This is an amazing story. 1966, Rav Shlomo was invited, or 68. 66 or 68, maybe 68. Rav Shlomo was invited to go do a concert in San Diego. I think I sent this out once to the group. And he gets a call, this is December time. He gets a, earlier that week, he was in, he was in San Diego, and he was at a piano, there was a piano in the room where he was staying, and he got this melody. Da-la-la-la-la-la, da-la-la-la-la. He's singing it, so they went into Shabbos, singing it all Shabbos. And Motzei Shabbos, he got a call that his father died. Yeah, his father died. And then he was thinking about this nigun non-stop. A few days later, I think it's Chav, his yahrzeit, it's Chav Bet Kislev. They're burying his father. His father's buried 2 rows in front of him in Har Menuchot. Actually closer to I can get much closer to it's much closer to the road. His mother and his father. 2 rows up, but more right to the Amamish on the road. And he thought to himself that, what's the one thing that his father left him? People sometimes, unfortunately, at funerals, they think about, okay, I'm so sad, but I waited a long time to, for whatever it is that's been waiting for me. So he said, he was thinking to himself, he said, well, what's been waiting? Why did my father leave me? More than anything. What's the real estate? He said, Shabbos. Mm-hmm. So at the kever, at the funeral, he came down. Mizmor, he sang the thing. That's what my father left me. That's not just what he left me, it's what he gave me when he was alive, what he's leaving me now that he's gone. Yeah, just look at that. And the whole world is singing this nigun. And it came from a moment of thinking about what an Abba left his son. What a deep thing, huh? What an amazing thing. Okay, Chaverim, so just again, Baruch Hashem, sponsors with the months of Iyar, the Sternbergs, and the Krams and Schaffners for the yahrzeit of Rabbi Yitzchak Aryeh, the Feigenbaum family, ונשמחה ben Yechiel Zedel Dov, and Monday Shabbos. Okay, that's it for tonight. If you can open up, please, on page Kuf Yud Bet. We are continuing this wonderful teaching from Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shechter. Last week, we were learning for a while 3 words. 3 words only, remember? What were the 3 words? Yaminu Small Tefrotzi. That's it. Yaminu Small Tefrotzi. That the avoda on Shabbos is that I have to get through Yaminu Small, and we described what does it mean. What do I have to, what do I have to break through? What is Yamin and what is small? What do they represent? And what do I have to break through for Yaminu Small Tifrotzi? And then the Torah, but then it continues. So once you break through, what do you do? Et Hashem Ta'aritzī is what we're going to try to figure out what that means today. Mamish, those 3 words, and I realized we spent an hour on 3 words last week. It took about 2.5 seconds to say it on Friday night. I was feeling like I wasn't. Who was Chazan last Friday night? Yuri. I wanted to. Okay, stop here. Pause. Wait a second. I want to take in this. And Yaminu Small Tifrotzi. Wait, what do you mean Yaminu Small Tifrotzi? We have all these Torahs in Yaminu Small Tifrotzi. You got to stop for a second. So it goes. It seeps in somewhere. At the right moment, when there's enough humility in the heart, Hashem says, "Here, take that Torah you learned. It's right here waiting for you." I want to have that kavanah also for tonight. And tonight, obviously, it's going to be Ve'et Hashem Ta'aritzī. So he continues here on the bottom left column on Kuf Yud Bet. V'alidei shvirat u'pritzat ha'gdarim shel yamin u'smol, by breaking down what yamin u'smol, what right and left represent, all those voices, all those convincing voices that are trying to convince you to get out of here. This is not your zach. You're bringing your tummy, all the things we learned last week. I can't get into it right now, but all the things we learned last week. So through this, tiskele kayem, you'll merit to also mekayem ve'et Hashem Ta'aritzī. Now, what is Hashem Ta'aritzī? Now, we said this a little bit last week. In Hebrew, the word for fans is ma'aritzim or ma'aritzot, fans, right? Doesn't really mean that. It could mean that ve'et Hashem Ta'aritzī. Once you get through all the garbage, then you'll just be able to be the biggest fan of God. Now, that could be a certain pshat. He's not taking that to this place today. Okay? Shekivyachol yiten oz le'elokim. That means, so to speak, again, this is a huge so to speak. What does it mean, giving oz to God? Yeah, what is it? God needs you to give him strength? Forget that, needs. Is it possible to give the Hashem Yitbarach strength?
Our perspective.
Huh?
Our perspective.
But not,
we see Hashem
right.
stronger, but Hashem didn't change. We see Hashem.
Our perception of Hashem changes. I just want to make sure that's a very important diuk. I mean, we have a pasuk in Tehillim that makes it's even clearer there that's problematic. Why? What's the pasuk in Tehillim? Tnu oz le'elokim. No, Hashem oz le'amoiten is fine. Hashem gives us strength. Tnu oz le'elokim al Yisrael gavatov u'zo b'shchakim. What does it mean, giving Hashem oz? Imagine if we sang that nigun differently. Amoten le'Hashem oz. You'd say, are you crazy? We need the strength. But really, Ta'aritzī is Lashon giving Hashem. He says over here, Ta'aritzī Lashon koach u'gvura. Stop for a second. And Matityahu, mamash chivanta l'matara b'diuk. What does that mean that I'm giving God strength? I don't add any, thank God, the God that I worship, it's impossible for me to give him and add anything to him. That'd be really bad if we could do that. That'd be horrible. The whole thing would be done. What could we change? Our perception of how strong and how almighty and how big and how loving and you fill in the rest. That's what we could change. But on Hashem's anava, kivyachol, it's as if we are the ones that are adding, making Hashem great. We say make Hashem names, that's where he got it from. Make Hashem's name great again. Mamish, otherwise that's where he got it from, right? Make Hashem's name great again. What does that mean? Hashem needs you to make his name. No, it's to you. What is it for you? I was thinking about that also. Kavanah for Sfira Sa'imer. Rachman ichzir lanu avodas beis hamikdash limekoma b'mhera b'meinu ensela. That limekoma means bring back the crying out for davening beis hamikdash to the right place, where I should be davening for it more. The right place. The right place is where I should be thinking about it more. Okay, weiter. Fifth line, שתחזק כביכול את הבורא יתברך שמו. That so to speak, you're strengthening God. How? בזה שהתגברת על עצמך, ולא נתת להבל דבר להעבירך מדעתך ומדעת קונך. How do you give God strength? That you overcame yourself and you didn't allow brother other side to come and convince you that you're not worthy of being part of the chabura, of the fabrengen, of the kahal. By you, this is an amazing thing. By you actually not allowing all those convincing voices that tell you you're not worthy, and by still going through, you're actually, he says here, you actually giving Hashem strength. It's hard to understand what this means. I mean, we understand it figuratively, as we're speaking, but it's unbelievable. שבכוח הישרותא דלתתא יגביר את המלכות דקדושה. With your awakening from below, what are you doing? You're turning on. You're making the malchus of holiness much stronger. Where? So, where are you making it much stronger? Where are you making it? If I said, in the world, or in yourself, what do you say? Hainu that, yeah. Both. Because if it's not, mazah mishaneh, if it's not happening by you, if it's happening in the world, there's no negia to you, then mazah mishaneh. What does it matter?
Because it happens to you.
Right.
Because it's happening to you.
It's happening to the world as well. I have to believe that. No, I have to believe that. That because this inyan of Yisgadrus Malchus Dekdusha is happening by me, then I have to believe that since I'm a chelik Elokam Imal, I am mashping on the rest of the world. There is a Yisgadrus in the world, somehow. It is, it has to be. It's very important to think about that. ובכוח זה יביא השם יתברך את כל הבריאה למצב של לתקן עולם במלכות שין ד' י' בכללות ובפרטות. Through this decision making of saying, I'm not listening to all these voices, I'm going for it. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת השם תעריצי. The end result when everyone takes this on is that everyone wins. When my Malchus de Gedusha is up, everyone wins. It doesn't mean someone else remains lower. Everyone wins. Like that's Shabbos. We have to realize the sod of Shabbos is that everyone wins. We have to think about that and internalize that very deeply. When I allow the Malchus de Gedusha to be that which goes up. He's going to explain this a little bit more in depth. כי תיקון כל העולמות תלוי בהתערות הדילטטה שלנו, שנעלה אליו מעולם הזה הגשמי, מההסתרה שבתוך ההסתרה. I once spoke to a Chabadnik, and we were at a Farbrengen together, and he sang every nigun. Then he started singing Vafilu B'Hastara. He says, אנחנו לא שרים את זה. He said, why? He said, מה זה הסתרה? הכל אלוקות. מה זה? What do you mean הסתרה? It's an interesting approach. And he got like a little bit like איזה ניגון מטומטם. איזה ניגון, מה שרים? It's like, what are you saying? Everything's אלוקות, everything's godliness. מה זה? אפילו ההסתרה שבתוך ההסתרה. On whatever level we're still experiencing this, we know that we definitely feel, as much as in our heart of hearts, we know we're getting closer than ever, even though we still have a lot to go. We've never been closer to the day where all concealment will end. He's saying over here, what really provides us with the downfall of Hastara Shebetoch Hastara? What's going to put it away? Gilui Malchus Degdusha from inside, Itaruta Dilatata. However I decide to ignore those Yaminu small voices, the Baruch Hashem, Hastara will end. But the problem is that Hastara causes us to hear more and more Yaminu small voices. See, the concealment causes us more and more to say, are you guys sure about this whole thing? Like for real, in the name of holiness, are you sure about this whole trend? 75-year trend or whatever it is, Are you sure about this? And it messes with us, and it plays with us very much, Mamash very much. I had a friend that thought he was being cute, and he texted me on, he's like Yom HaZikaron, he's like, Efo ata beleila atzbanot? Did you catch that? Leila atzbanot. I'm like, listen, certain things, when tons of Yidden, holy Yidden, are celebrating the fact that they could still celebrate here in Eretz Yisrael after a day where we cry our eyes out with things that could cause hastara shebetoch hastara, even if זה קצת מעצבן אותך, יש דברים שלא אומרים. There's certain things you just don't say. אין מה לעשות. Hey, makabel, it was fine. It was actually a very special moment. But, מה זה?
What the answer to something like that?
It's a big nisayan. It's a big nisayan to to not without. It's a very big nisayan, but you have to remember where it's coming from. I know this person. It was coming from a deep longing for Mashiach. He said we stopped at Yom Ha'atzmaut. We stopped. We could have brought Mashiach. We stopped. We thought we thought it was over. So I know, because I know he's coming from there, it's easier for me to not, I told him, I myself have been in this trip for I had 10 years of going back and forth every year. What am I doing? Because of the pnimius of the matter. You need a lot of Siyat Dishmaya. Hastara means you forget that maybe this guy could be coming from a holy place. That's Hastara, Okay. Let's go. Ha'im nunat. So again, what was the concept here? That when we break through and when we yamin ושמאל תפרוצי, the chiddush here was I'm giving koyach to Hashem. Okay? So Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter is just addressing that straight out. He's saying, what? Did you hear what you said? Ha'im nuchal lehalot al da'ateinu eze lashon ze? V'ma katuv kan? Do you realize what's written here? Now, what's funny is that who wrote this here? He did. He's not. I was looking. I said maybe I missed that he quoted another. He did not. I mean, unless you guys can find a quote here, I think this was him saying him the whole time.
I think he's referring to Bet Hashem Ta'aritzי.
To the concept of giving. No, he's
He's saying, how can you say
if you explain that Vet Hashem Ta'aritzי means that, that maybe, yeah. Ma katuv kan? Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu tzarich chizuk? Like we need chizuk. God needs chizuk. Chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom. He's saying, no. God forbid. Ela kavana hi. מכיוון שהקדוש ברוך הוא גזר שהתיקון של הבריאה הוא שתכלית רצונו צריך להיות ולהתבצע על ידי ההתערותא דילתתא של עם ישראל. He says no. The Kavanah is like this. God decreed that the tikkun of the creation is that the purpose the tachlis of Hashem, of Hashem's ratzon, has to be done through itaruta dilatatas. Let's just say that in our language. God designed the world so that the world to be fixed, in order for the world to be fixed, could God do it?
Sure.
In a second, in a split second. How did Hashem design the world? And just to think about this for a second, even though we think it's like muvan me'elav. The way Hashem designed the world is that you guys are going to mashlim the tikkun of the bria. You're going to complete the picture of the purpose of creation. How? Based on what we're learning? Yaminu ושמאל תפרוצי. You're going to complete the purpose of creation. Why did you choose to do it like this, God? What's the best answer you could give? Lama? Kacha. And then spend the rest of your life trying to understand what the whole zach is, right? Lama? This is how Hashem designed it. It's an amazing thing. When you realize that this is the way Hashem designed it, and you go through Yaminu ושמאל תפרוצי, you mamish do ve'et Hashem Ta'aritzī. That's the outcome. The outcome is making Hashem's name great and bringing the whole world much closer to Tikkun HaBriya, to the fixing of all creation. Or you get stuck. Where do you get stuck? Where you look at God while He's sending you Yaminu ושמאל, and what do you say to God? Couldn't you figure out a better way to elevate your name in the world? You ever have that? You ever have that dialogue? Yeah. Couldn't you have figured out a smoother way? The silent, nervous grin that everyone has right now. It's like inside our heart, that question is like, lingers, like comes and plays hide and seek with us all day long. Like this? Oh, if it was me, I wouldn't have, I just would have made it much more easy. For your sake, God, right? Not for me, not to make my life easier. To make your name greater, to fix your world, I would have done it much easier, right? And he's saying that's mamish, when you could lead gaber on that voice of saying, I would have designed it in a better way, and you say, but this is my bag, and this is the way you designed the world, Hashem. Malchus dikdusha, ve'et Hashem taaritzi, tznu oz le'elokim, ve'yedu kol amei ha'aretz, ki shem Hashem nikra alinu. You let God's name be known in the whole world, in the whole existence. Tikkun kol ha'olam, was fixing all worlds. He's saying this is what we say on Shabbos, kamuva lapasuk, asher bara elokim la'asot. That's the key word. God created this world for us to what? To do. This is what we're here for. V'Hashem yitbarach yigmor ve'yashlim et ma shehu rotzeh al yadeinu kivyachol. And God will then finish off and complete everything that He wants through us. Im ken ze nikra et Hashem taaritzi. You know what aritz means? An aritz? Ma ze aritz? Shalit. It's a governor. An aritz. Aritzut. Today's modern Hebrew, they say, aritzut is also a word for a big name that's very much caught the public's eye. Moshe, you know what aritzut is? Maze? Dictatura. I went to one of the Afghanot by accident against the reform. I had to play at the great synagogue and right in Rav Shlomo, and then you go to, it's called Kikar Paris. You know where that is? Like right by the King's Hotel. So I played dumb American, and I was walking over there like really excited, and I caught these like some young Israeli guys, and they were so proud, like aritz. They had the word aritzut, right? Because I said, "Slicha chadasha ani Eretz Yisrael, Ivrit." So, and then like they're like, oh, what? How? You know? And then I'm like, oh, thank God, you guys speak English, and it was great. I said I learned in yeshiva like Torah when I realized aritzis. What's aritzis? Because they had the word aritzut on one of the banners. Meaning saying like that the government's aritzim is a group of dictators. And it was so beautiful that when they were like spending like mamash, would calmly like 5 minutes for me trying to explain to me what aritzut means. I got saved from a big chilul Hashem because another musician that's Israeli saw me in the crowd, and he was coming up to me and talking to me in Hebrew right in front of these guys. And I ran out of there before these guys realized that I just wanted to bring down the lashon a little bit, like to metaher the lashon. These are heavy words, aritzut. But the Torah is not a democracy, and we know this. Thank God it's not a democracy. Chasdei Hashem. We have the aritz. We have et Hashem taaritzi. I want to hear from you. I want to be told to do from you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And what do I hear from my aritz? Ve'et Hashem taaritzi. Only you. I'm following your word. I'm going to learn your Torah, and it's going to be the light in my life. And it's going to when I allow it to be the only light in my life. Mamish, think about this, Chavra. When I allow the Torah to be the only sound, the only soundtrack in my life, do you know how much easier Yaminu Small's Tefrotzis happen? All those walls come tumbling down. They're all castles and sand. Mamish, it's all castles and sand. All those voices, it's all just comes tumbling down. And I realized this is what I really wanted. Ve'et Hashem taaritzi. This is all I wanted in the first place. Mamash, kol ma sheratziti. So therefore, he's saying over here, it's amazing. How many words do we have now? Yamin usmot ve'et Hashem taaritzi. 6 words. Basically, what he said here is that these 6 words are tachlis habriya. It's the purpose of all of creation. Yosef, you want to say something?
No, you reminded me of me that I once got. Decisions become easier when you're able to please God, outweighs your will to please the world.
יפה מאוד. יפה מאוד, חזק מאוד. חזק מאוד. Yeah.
That was also from broadcast, right?
Roots is a state, like a channel, like a station.
That's your Hashem, your broadcast.
He's here brought יפה מאוד. ואת Hashem תעריצי. It's the only thing I'm tuned to. יפה מאוד. That's so... Josh, what's going on with you, man? What is going on with you? It's good stuff. ואת Hashem. You know, this reminds me of something cute. The first band, when I was in Eretz Yisrael, the guy said to me, we have to have a name. You gotta have a name. I'm like, yeah, everyone has names. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm like thinking, what would, and I just found the first business card, like from 20 something years ago. I just found it when I was cleaning for Pesach, the business card from back then. It's even before you came to yeshiva. Mamish, when I first got there. So I was thinking, wow, the channels above sound like a really cool, it's a pretty cool name, right? But then the manager at the time was Israeli. He's like, okay, so how do you say it in Hebrew? And in Hebrew it sounds, it doesn't, but I'm realizing now because it's weird, it was Taaריצי Marom. Channels above, but that doesn't, some things are supposed to be meant only to be said in English, and some things are meant to only be said in Hebrew, you know? Channels above, Taaריצי Marom. But it's channel, it's mamash channel. Okay, so let's finish this. ועל ידי מי נעשים now. Okay, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת השם תעריצי. Okay, he's going to finish the whole stanza there. Why does it continue? Okay, now here we go. How do we do the tachlis of the Bria? How is the whole world one day going to be able, the whole world is going to be able to break through Yamin Usmo, those voices of last week, in order to make sure that the only broadcast that I hear is just you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that I only hear you. And it's getting harder and harder to just hear Hashem when any part of social media is part of our life, because you just hear everything all the time. Anything that you want to do, you're just hearing everything. Everything, you're hearing so many things. So he says like this, V'al yedei mi nasin b'poal kol hatikunim halalu. Now, lemaisa, who's making these fixings take place? Al yad ish ben Parzi. Who is that referring to? David HaMelech. Now, we're saying the words here in Efrat every Friday night. It was amazing when you think about it. Al yad ish ben Parzi. You can point your finger, saying right here, the Ben Peretz happened right here. The one that was born right in front of us, right over here. Al yad ish ben Parzi, al yadei tzaddik, sheporetz et kol hagdarim, through the tzaddik. He is the one that bursts through any fence. V'nichnas leheichal hamelech, and he goes into the chamber of the king. Kmo sheRabbeinu hitbata pam, like Rabbi Nachman once said, shehu mechavev et hachasidim sheportzim leheichal hamelech bli hitpa'alut. That they break into the king's chamber and they don't even make too much noise. They just show up. They don't let anything in their way. It's one of the statements of Rabbi Nachman. There's like books written on that statement. What did Rabbi Nachman really mean? He likes Hasidim that just go through. It sounds like a little shtickle, a chatchila ariba. It's like you just go through. You don't get caught. Huh? Akshon is the kedusha. Akshon is the kedusha. But he says bleed palut, and they don't like call in press to let everyone know. Oh, the chevra came in. You go in to the Eichel of Melech. He says, "Hu bechinas Shabbos Kodesh." Everything we're just saying right now. And the tzaddik, the Talmid Chacham, the Gemara refers to, right, is called Shabbos. There are many Talmidei Chachamim they were referred to as Shabbos. Why? Ben chorin nachala bli mitzarim. I'm free. I can go, and no one. There is nothing stopping me from going right to the Ratzon of Hashem. Nothing. שהצדיק כבר קילה את חלק עמלק שמו. The tzaddik has already shechted the piece of Amalek that may have been in him at a certain point. ויש לו השגות ומגרגות כאלו שמטייל בגנזיה דמלכה ללא הגבלת ומצרים. He has, like, you ever see those passes when you go through you know what I mean, like access to, like in amusement parks, you could buy a certain pass. It used to not be like this. It used to just be, we were kids, one track, stand in line. If you're not tall enough after waiting for 3 hours, nothing you could do. Today it's not. You buy the fast track, it's all like this. But he's saying the tzaddik has this all-access card. Right? He goes into anywhere. The tzaddik goes into every chamber. There's nowhere the tzaddik doesn't go through. Ki en lo kvar et hamitzarim sheyafriu lo. Not, he doesn't have the narrowness, meaning the small-mindedness, meaning the kleine cup, like we spoke about last week, that says, I can't really get past this. Let me just be happy with my chelik. Ki arei hu bechinas Shabbos, because he's the bechina of Shabbos. Shabbos is nachala bli meitzarim. It's an inheritance, it's a portion that has no narrowness. And we feel like that. On Shabbos, tell me, you feel, Motzei Shabbos, the MSBs come and they rip us into shreds sometimes. But on Shabbos itself, there are so many moments during davening that we feel we could do anything in the world. We could be anybody in the world. Bless you, at a place of anava, not out of a place of gaiva. Okay, it's not like I reached this place on Shabbos when, wow, I didn't know I had this. The kedusha of Shabbos comes in, and I'm saying nothing can stop me. Yaminu ושמאל תפרוצי ואת השם תעריצי. I have the ish ben Parzi in my, I feel it so much stronger. And then what happens to me? ונשמחה ונגילה. I have such a simcha. Why? Because in my mind, I decided I'm going to be the biggest tzaddik in the world. In my mind, I decided this week I'm putting those things away. In my mind, in my heart, I decided I'm not going back to those things that made me feel like I'm in Mitzrayim during the week. So I have such a simcha. Why? Because it's as if it's already happened. What happened Sunday morning? This is why Shabbos has to be pounded in even deeper and deeper, so that Sunday morning doesn't come too fast. Maybe it doesn't even come at all. Meaning, Baruch Hashem, we'll live. But Sunday, Shabbos. Monday, Shabbos. Wow, what a Shabbos. Like the Gemara says, Tuesday. What a Shabbos, right? Good Shabbat Shalom. Wednesday, Shabbos, exactly. Can't wait for Shabbos. Why? I can't wait again to reconnect with the Yaminu ושמאל תפרוצי that I've developed inside of me. I can't wait. I can't wait to not feel narrow again, even if it's coming on a little bit. This is Mashiach. He says, this is the ish ben Parzi. This is what the tzaddik does. He shows you all know, Chaver, that have been by tzaddikim. By the tzaddik, he looks at where you could be, and that's how he talks to you. That's what happens when we go to these tzaddikim. They look at you exactly where you could be, how they see you there already, and why do we want to be by them so much? Because we long to be around people that's how they look at us. I want to have friends that look at me with those eyes of not just where you could be, but I already see you there, in that place. Can you imagine if there was a kehillah of people that's how they looked at each other? Can you imagine that? They would be Mashiach. What else would be needed? That you're surrounded by people in the context of Avodat Hashem, Sichat Chaverim, and everyone's looking at each other with Yaminu ושמאל תפרוצי eyes, saying, listen, I know you may be stuck in wherever you're stuck in, and I'm sorry you're going through the narrowness. I just don't see you like that. It's mamish like how Rabbi Nachman explains that a zamra eyes pulls out a sinner from Sheol Tachtis and causes a person to do tshuva. How so? Because the sinner is waiting for someone to look at them with those eyes of where they could be and follow the lead. Mamish. And that'd be just so amazing if that's something that we'd be zochet to with. And I think what he's saying here, how do you do this? Like when the more Shabbos is Shabbos by you, the more that you could be a Yaminu ושמאל תפרוצי ואת השם תעריצי friend, weiter, a ben Parzi friend for your friends, a ben Parzi friend for your friends. I'm looking at you, not just where you could be. I'm looking at you as if you are already there. Those are the eyes of the ben Parzi. That's the eyes of Mamish of Mashiach. It's the eyes of David HaMelech. It really is. And the tzaddik has, because the tzaddik's there. The tzaddik is in that place. He's talking to you from there. And he's saying, what, you think it's only me here? Mapitom. You have a chelik here too. You kidding me? Come, I see you. You could do it. It's Shabbos, right? This is Shabbos. Bivchinas lehashbit oyev umitnakem. David HaMelech says, lehashbit. That means to cancel out, to nullify. That comes from the language of Shabbos. To put a strike. Shvita, don't worry. I know we're very sensitive to that word, right? Lehashbit oyev umitnakem. To completely wipe out the possibility of having any type of enemy within you and a vengeance within you. Gamarnu, there's nothing. Lechen nikra tzadik ben Parzi. Basically, Tifrotzi, remember, Tifrotzi and ben Parzi are the same words. Peretz. Who came from Peretz? We're going to read it on Shavuos. Melech HaMashiach. Where did Peretz come from? This is what we're dealing with. נתווסף כוח בכל אחד ואחד מישראל החפץ להתקרב לבוראו יתברך שמו. The little me that does a little bit of a ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, he's saying over here, you have to understand, someone else is winning right now by you being you. And then if someone else is winning by you being you, Malchus de Kedusha goes more in the world. Hastara shebatoch hastara is less in the world. Tikkun kol ha'olamot, purpose of creation. Tachlis ha'olam, Shabbos. Game, not over. Game on, exactly. Game on, not over. That's when it begins. We're still in I'm from LA. Dodgers used to always play in Albuquerque in preseason. We're in Albuquerque, we used to say. We're not in Dodger Stadium. It didn't start yet. The league didn't start yet. Lakers, El Segundo. Anyway, these are all the phrases of... It didn't, it's pregame. It's not even the game. Then the game is on. And he says the purpose is, you know what this leads you to? How do you know if you broke through and you listened and you stopped listening to those voices? You broke through and you walked into the Heichal HaMelech. Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter says this may be the most important piece over here. How do you know if you broke through and you believe that mamish, you belong at the tish and you're at the tish and you're surrounded by holiness? He says, because it's a very simple way of knowing. Are you happy or are you not happy? If you feel heavier, it's not the tish you're showing up at. The other side is still hopping onto you. He's tricking, it's some kind of sick trick going on over here. If you have feeling some inner simcha, I'm not talking dafka about jumping on vans. You know, a simcha inside. ונשמחה ונגילה במהרה בקרוב. That's how you know. You know if this process is anything, is if the outcome really is, wow, bifnim ze amok. Yesterday, did you guys know my friend Eitan G, right? You've seen him. He's been coming a lot. He's been staying either by me or by Dr. Gancher. So he's been here. He's an amazing. He's one of my most special friends in the world, and he does something incredible. He doesn't live here yet, and by him I say yet because he's really been working on moving here for a very long time. It's going to happen very soon. He does something incredible every year for his children that are turned bar and bat mitzvah. His gift is bringing them to Eretz Yisrael, either on Pesach or Chol HaMoed Pesach, till after Yom HaAtzmaut. He says, this is the greatest gift I can give you, bringing you to Eretz Yisrael during Pesach, Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom HaAtzmaut. Every year. It's an amazing thing. So he's about to leave. I think maybe he left even last night. He left last night? Yeah. So he called me yesterday from his last stop on the way to the airport. And he was video calling me, and I see, he went to go visit. You remember Yehuda Glantz? The singer. Also, an old friend of ours used to come out to LA a lot, and we were friends from back then. So, Yehuda said to me on the video chat, this is why I'm thinking about this. He said to me, "No, ata besimcha." He's a jokester, okay? He's a very funny guy, and he said, "Shlomo, ata zocher." He's from Buenos Aires. He sounds like my father a little bit. He's like, "אתה זוכר, אחרי כל התודות והכל, הכל, הכל, שמחה הוכחה להיות התרופה הכי מועילה יותר מהכל." And he's right. Meaning, he said, after everything is said and done, simcha is the greatest, strongest, most potent vitamin that works stronger than anything else to heal the tzavach and the yid. Simcha is the result of not listening to the voices that tell us you can't go forward. So basically, this Yaminu Smol Tifrotzi Vet Hashem Tarizi Al Yad Ish Ben Parzi ונשמחה ונגילה, these 4 lines that we have said at least thousands of times in our life. Again, you can't stop. It's hard. You can't stop the davening, especially because that part of Lechadodi is always fast, kimat, unless the Chazan didn't get the memo. But it's usually, it's usually always fast, so it's even more difficult to stop at those words. But for us to learn them, trust me, they're inside. They're inside. We'll meet those words with our eyes and our heart tonight. And Be'ezrat Hashem, Melech HaMashiach and nothing less should be greeting us on the other side. Good Shabbos, everyone.